Guys, I was sleeping on this video game. Hey, what is up, everyone? My name is Vincent. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm not sure if you've heard about the Kill la Kill video game, but it is a lot of fun. Now, I'm not exactly sure how fun this game is if you're not a Kill la Kill fan, and especially if you're not a Studio Trigger fan. But if you're not a Studio Trigger fan, then what are you doing? Go watch Studio Trigger. Watch any of their anime. Okay? Watch any of it. It's super good. Yes, the art style might throw you off, the animation might throw you off for a second, but give it some time. Let it sink in, enjoy it, and you will be blessed. And it is amazing. And Studio Trigger is now one of my favorite studios, maybe even my favorite anime studio. They're just so good, and you really need to give them a chance. But this isn't about that. This is about the Kill la Kill video game. Now, don't ask me why it took me 2 years to play this video game. I have no idea why. Don't ask me why I'm making a video about it 2 years later. Well, I do know why. It's because my friend Will, thank you, Will, he showed me this game, and this game is fantastic, and I don't know why I wasn't shown sooner. I'm not normally a huge fan of arena fighters, so if you're not a huge fan of arena fighters, then I wouldn't completely write this off yet, because you know, I played like the Naruto games, and I like Naruto a lot. I grew up with Naruto. I mean, I don't have some sort of like, oh, it's my favorite anime type thing that some people have these days, but you know, I like Naruto. And for whatever reason, I don't know if the controls and the mechanics were just not quite right for me, but Kill la Kill just fits so, it just feels so right. So, you know, it's easy to get into, you know, so I played on the PlayStation, so I'm going to be using PlayStation terminology. So square is your like basic attacks, triangle is your projectile attacks, and then circle is your guard breaker attack. So if your opponent's guarding, you can break their guard using circle. What's interesting about that, though, is it leaves you more open to being attacked yourself if you hit it at the wrong time. So you only want to do it at very strategic angles, so you can't just button mash everything, or you're just going, like, if you just keep button mashing circle, you're going to get destroyed, more than likely. Now, some of the characters play slightly different. Actually, not just slightly different. The characters play vastly different, which is really, really cool. So even though that's the basic scheme for everyone, some people's circles you're going to want to use more often because they're not as slow, or they build in the combos better, or they have a thing where you use it, and if your opponent hits you, then you get to get a free counterattack on them, as opposed to it leaving you more vulnerable. So there's like, it's so interesting that everyone follows the same basic mechanics and yet plays completely differently. There's one character who like her whole thing is like all of her attacks hit more at a range. So even like her ranged attack is still like a ranged attack, but even her like melee and her guard breaker are ranged, but they all are used differently. So her guard breaker is this giant laser, and it starts tracking the enemy across the screen, and it makes it so she's hard to use where if people get up close to you, which is easy to do because if you just hit X twice, you'll dash up in the air for one X, and then you dash towards the player with a second X, and it automatically will hone in on them and attack them. And you have to be sure you block it, and if you don't, it's gonna hit you. Even if you try to dash it out of the way, it's gonna like they're gonna like and just hit you. So it's real easy to close the distance, real easy to close the gap, and so it makes her like a challenge to play in that way. But she also has like, I mean, since her guard breaker is this giant laser that hits across the screen, it deals decent damage. Like it makes it so it like, to me, it feels balanced. I mean, my friend said the game is a pretty balanced game. I mean, of course, with any fighting game, you're going to have some characters that are a little bit better than others, and some that are a little bit less than others. And it was really neat, like seeing how the different playstyles were. You know, with Mako, for example, I was really struggling. I didn't understand how she played. I was trying to play her like I was playing Ryoko and Satsuki, and I was doing really well with Ryoko and Satsuki. But with Mako, I was getting my butt handed to me. Well, it turns out with Mako, part of her thing is you don't want to burn through her super meters as much, because the higher up her super meter, the stronger her like base attacks get, and the better her combos seem to get. There's something like that. I still don't exactly know how to use her because I was just playing this last night, so I'm still very new to the game. But it made it so whereas with Ryoko, who's pretty much my main, like you would want to time each of your specials at the end of your combos or use them in a very strategic time, and you'd have to time it out, and she's kind of like your best like starting character. She's kind of like the essential way to play the game, or like the most like fundamental way to play the game, and then all the other characters start getting like off center base and start getting wild with how you play them. And so with Mako, I had to learn to use her specials a lot more sparingly, because if I didn't, then she just became too weak and I would just die. So that was wild. And then of course there's some of the bigger characters and all that stuff. So it's just a fun game. I mean, I didn't really get to play the story mode. I heard that you sort of need the context of the anime. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. And I heard it also shows Lady Satsuki's perspective for like the second half. So that sounds like a lot of fun. I'd be very interested in trying out the story mode. My only criticisms of the game is the selection is fairly small. Now, they did add 2 DLC characters that I heard that were just added to the PlayStation 4 version, making it sort of like the definitive way to play, because I believe that you only get Mako and Nudist Beach that way. And to me, I would hate having this game and not have those characters, because the roster's already very small. I think it's like 8 characters, 2 variations, which play completely different from my understanding. And then you have the 2 DLC characters, so you have a total of 12. As long as you have the DLC, which is free for these characters, as long as you have the PlayStation 4. And then you have the 2 variations, which not everyone will count, but I heard the playstyle is completely differently. Now, I played this on my PlayStation, so I didn't have the extra characters unlocked, because you unlock 2 through the story mode. And, well, actually, you might unlock two characters from the story mode and then the 2 variations from the story mode. I'm not sure how that works, but basically we're playing without 4 of the options. And even with that, like at first I was a little bit bummed out, but knowing that the characters play as differently as they do, and the cast is so likable. I mean, any of the characters, it's just a delight to play. So I was actually able to have, more fun, because you can play another fighter that has a larger roster, which I tend to prefer, but the quality ultimately matters more than quantity, and the quality of each of these fighters is top tier. So I do have to give it to this game for that. My other thing is, a lot of people are like, why do we get in a Kill la Kill game? I wish it was a Studio Trigger game, so we still have Kill la Kill. It could still be the same mechanics, and just, like we could hopefully get in Gurren Lagann. I know it's more Gainax, but, same teams kind of stuff. So, throwing Gurren Lagann into that mix, have Little Witch Academia, have Darling in the Franxx. I mean, there's so many awesome options, and that could have really made the cast robust. And I'm sure there's people that haven't seen Kill la Kill but have seen some of these other shows that would buy into the game for that show. And with it all being under the same studio, I mean, who's known for, like, I feel like a lot of people that like that studio like a lot of the anime across the board. Now, of course, you're going to have some people that, don't like Darling in the Franxx, or that's their, but I mean, for other people, that's their favorite anime. So, like, I think that would have worked, and I really hope that we can see that moving forward, because this fighting system is amazing. The rock, paper, scissors thing, actually, for it to be so simple, to be like a rock, paper, scissors challenge, was made so much better by the fact that, so basically in the game, if you're not aware, either player could initiate like a sort of like an injustice thing where both characters like back up and then attack each other. But it's better than the injustice one. It's similar but better. So then they go in for their clash, and then you have to choose square, triangle, or circle. The thing is circle always beats square, square always beats triangle, triangle always beats circle. So they call it like a rock, paper, scissors mechanic. And what's so cool about rock, paper, scissors is it's so simple, but you think of it as being purely luck-based. But with this, what makes it so much better is they have each of the buttons tied to a boost. So one like will boost your health, one will boost like your attack, and one boosts like your special or something like that. And depending on which one you hit, if you win, you'll get that boost. But your opponent also can try to guess which one you're going to hit. So, for example, I initiated it whenever I had low health. It's obvious that I would want more health because I'm about to die. However, I knew that my friend knew that. So he chose circle, thinking I would choose square, because square would give me more health, I think, whichever one it is. But instead I chose triangle, so like I won the match. And if you win 3 of these, you end up getting like super powered, and you can just like deal massive damage and then do like an auto KO hit. So it's just, this game is such a perfect representation of taking like simple mechanics and really having a lot of depth to them. And I've heard some people say that the game is like too luck based or whatever, but really I think what's telling about it not being too luck based is I've seen new people play this game and really like not really struggle, but like hold their own, but like not be able to win. And I've seen people that's played this game a lot, win every time. And then when you have someone that's a little bit more experienced, played a little bit more, I mean it makes sense. Like the players who play longer have a better chance at winning. But it's cool that it's not, the gap isn't so vast that like it doesn't seem like the other person just can't do anything for the most part. I mean, there is like some characters have like a lot of juggling going on, and it can feel like you just can't do anything at all. But I think this game is like just, I don't know. I really honestly love the system. It probably is my favorite fighting system I've ever seen, like, which is high praise for me. I really enjoy it. I just really want to see it on a more robust roster. But other than that, I mean, this is a really cool game. I hope to see more. It's so cool. It looks like you're playing the anime. It's cool that it's a 3D space, but with the 2D art style. It is so good. If you have been thinking about playing it, because I saw it and I heard it was good, but it wasn't enough to just like get me to try this game. I definitely recommend it. I mean, especially if you're a Kill la Kill fan, Studio Trigger fan, fighting game fan. If you're all 3 of those things at all, then I definitely recommend it. So I just had to put this video out there because I know I have an anime audience that watches, and I shouldn't have been sleeping on it. So hopefully you're not sleeping on it, or if you are, hopefully you're not anymore. Anyways, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to let me know what you thought of the game once you've given it a try, or maybe you've already given it a try. Tell me what you think about it and what you'd like to see in the future. Take care. Stay awesome.
Guess I have no choice. It's time to save the world.